Greece is preparing to purchase up to 4 Italian frigates, Bergamini-Class. The news, which we've been following for several months, has been reported on several websites in the past few hours. After the Greek Minister of Defense gave an interview at the beginning of March, where he openly talked about the agreement that could be finalized in the coming weeks. The information we were tracking initially mentioned a possible sale of only 2 second-hand ships, an absolutely non-technical term, but now there is open talk of a possible agreement. 2 plus 2. The Greek Minister of Defense, Dendias, described these ships as platforms with high capabilities and in excellent operational condition. He emphasized that he personally verified their condition. During a visit to the naval base in La Spezia, Italy, you may also recall further tests on the ship with Greek technicians on board, which we mentioned a few months ago. These tests, conducted in Greece, certified and validated the excellent condition of one of the ships under examination. The negotiation would therefore represent the normal evolution of a memorandum signed in previous years between the two countries and constitutes the next step toward a binding executive agreement. The possible acquisition of the Italian frigates is part of a broader plan to strengthen the Greek armed forces. The program is part of an overall investment plan of about 28 billion euros, which looks ahead to 2036. Focusing on the naval plan, the renewal of the fleet is based on several assets, one of which concerns the introduction of the French-designed frigate, the Frégate de Défense et d'Intervention or Kimon class. For Athens, the first unit has already been delivered, while 3 more are expected to arrive in the coming years. A second pillar of the program concerns the modernization of the MEKO 200 Hellenic Navy-class frigates, which represent an important part of the Greek fleet. And they are set to receive a midlife upgrade. Given their service status and the years they have behind them, well, the arrival of the Italian units would therefore constitute a third component of the plan to strengthen the surface fleet, helping to increase the number of modern ships available for operations, which are certainly not lacking and will not be lacking in the coming years, a decision also linked to the gradual retirement of the Heli-class frigates, which entered service at the end of the Cold War. The first part of this agreement would concern 2 units of the Italian Navy, the lead ship Carlo Bergamini and Virginio Fassan. The agreement now also seems to provide the possibility of extending the acquisition to 2 more frigates. The project would be managed through a government-to-government cooperation mechanism that would also involve the Italian industry, which for obvious reasons would be Fincantieri. The next step will be the definition of an executive agreement with the related guarantees between the parties. Before I can give you a couple of figures regarding the cost of the operation. The Italian frigates will be sold by drawing from those already in service at this moment with the Italian Navy, but we do not have official names yet. Compared to the other 2 possible ships, some sources mention the Magottini, ma dobbiamo prenderle con dovere di inventario. The Bergamini has a general-purpose configuration, while the ship Virginio Fassan is a platform optimized for anti-submarine warfare. Let's remember, in fact, that one of the major challenges in the coming years will be to ensure the security of all the infrastructures located on the seabed. By purchasing just 2 of these Italian ships, Athens would be able to have a combination that would allow it to possess complementary operational capabilities within the same fleet of ships. This is an element that would certainly also have an impact on the logistics side. We did an in-depth analysis on the Frem ships in the previous episode, but let me pause for a moment. Regarding the armament, one of the issues on the table concerns the systems and weapons that will be chosen. The Italian Frem frigates are equipped with weapon systems designed to cover a wide range of operational scenarios. As for air defense, no change is expected in the choice of missiles from the Aster family. There are some doubts about the surface missiles that will eventually be integrated. On the artillery front, the Italian cannons are a certainty, a guarantee for surface defense and attack, and there is no doubt about their continued presence. It should be noted that the Bergamini is equipped with a main 127mm cannon and a 76mm super rapid cannon on top of the hangar, while the Fassan configuration features 2 76mm super rapid cannons. Today's sources remind us that in the case of the 127mm with standard ammunition, the range reaches about 30 kilometers, while with guided Volcano ammunition, it can go up to about 100 kilometers. The 76mm super rapid cannon, on the other hand, has a rate of fire that can reach up to 120 rounds per minute, and it's an excellent solution for anti-missile, anti-aircraft, and especially for counter-drone tasks, which are being mentioned more and more often. As for the timing, everything will depend on the construction schedules of the Italian military shipyard. According to the information currently available, the Navy aims to make the first 2 units available to Greece between 2028 and 2029. However, the schedule depends on Italy's ability to replace the ships without creating operational gaps in the Italian fleet. Hoping, of course, that the situation regarding personnel improves in the meantime, giving some relief to the men and women of the Italian Navy, a situation that has been ongoing for some time.
Come molto grave da persone molto più competenti di me.
In this regard, how can we not mention the central role that will be played by 2 ships that have not yet been completed, built in Italy, namely the Evo, the evolved version of the Bergamini-Class frigates. As Carolina Paith wrote in the Spring on Red, the first steel cutting for the Evo, the first Evo unit, took place in the early months of 2025. The contract for the construction of 2 Evo frigates is worth about 1.5 billion euros, and the ships will be built at the integrated Fincantieri shipyard in Riva, Trigosso, and Mudiano. The first unit is scheduled to be delivered to the Navy in 2029, while the second should enter service in 2030. Carolina also recalls that with these new constructions, the Italian fleet would reach a total of 12 units derived from the FREM project, including 4 general-purpose frigates, 4 anti-submarine, 2 enhanced anti-submarine, and finally 2 of the new Evo version. Here, there is a key point regarding the possible sale of ships to Greece. The number would be intended to match 10 Italian frigates, while there is the question, in the case of the sale of 4 frigates, whether there will be 2 new Evo. Or what will our Navy propose, which in the coming years has many hulls and programs on the way? Before continuing, I remind you that this program is airing thanks to you, with small gestures to be made at this moment. Leave a like, share your thoughts on today's topic, and share this video on your social media. Well, you know what I mean. Also, if you want, you can consider subscribing. It costs about €1 per month, but they allow us to bring you more and more content, improve the technical quality, and also bring you more analysts. Thank you very much. Since we mentioned the underwater war, I want to point out a piece of news that I wasn't able to bring you. Last week, at the Fincantieri plant in Mugiano, the ceremony for the construction of the first U-212 near-future submarine took place, which is clearly intended for our Navy. This event is important because it marks the beginning of the construction of a new generation of submarines that will gradually become part of the National Underwater Fleet. The program includes the complete renewal and construction of 4 units. The management of the program is entrusted to OCA, the international organization responsible for conducting cooperative programs in the defense sector. The first unit of the new class is scheduled to be delivered to the Navy in 2029 quickly. The U-212 near-future submarines are intended to gradually replace the Soro-class submarines, platforms that have represented an important part of the community for many years. The new units will also operate alongside the Todaro-class submarines. I'll leave you with a small summary table so you have an overview of the current situation. We will dedicate future episodes to the new submarines. But the U-212 near-future submarine introduced a series of innovations developed by the Italian industry compared to previous platforms. Among the most frequently mentioned elements by sources is always the integration of lithium-ion propulsion batteries, a technology destined to replace traditional ones. Lead-acid batteries solution allows for the adoption of a more efficient energy generation and management system. The use of the new batteries represents one of the main innovations planned for the new class. And last October, Fincantieri announced the successful completion of the critical design review related to the battery system. Alongside the updated energy system, the submarines will also integrate a new combat system, developed to ensure operational performance. Among other things, the innovations introduced clearly concern the quietness of the platforms, operational autonomy, the efficiency of onboard systems, and cyber aspects, a topic dear to our fleet. The 4th submarine in the series was contracted on June 28 with an estimated value of around €500 million. I'll conclude with a little plug. If you're eager to get more information about this class, go to the Italian Military Archives channel, where Admiral Michele Cosentino, together with Giulio Poggeroni, discussed it in detail in the first few minutes of the live stream. I'll leave the live stream among today's sources. That said, that's all for today. I invite you to go and explore the sources further. I'll just take another 30 seconds to thank you. The channel is about to reach, it's heading towards 40,000 subscribers. I really don't know how to thank you. I realize that my dialectical skills, as you can see, are starting to erode because of the amount of content we're bringing you. I apologize, but I need to start planning a vacation. Thank you so much for the support. See you soon on Gens Italia with more news.